There is nothing wrong with your television set. Do not attempt to adjust the picture. We are controlling transmission.
All right. So we've got episode 92. All right.
Yeah,
we're good
here we
now?
are.
Okay. Well, it was like locked up or something. I don't really know. It was, we were waiting on the, it's very spooktacular here on the
catch up
set.
a little bit.
So.
Yeah, I wasn't used to the,
all of it.
the spooky set we had.
That's exactly right. So, episode 92, and we're here.
Yeah, we are here. We're going to be talking about some fly rod handles tonight.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Well, yes.
Yes.
And we're also going to be talking fly in general, but we are going to key in on some handle stuff.
Yes.
Because, wrapping a guide on a fly rod is pretty much the same as anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of real seat mounting, got to take into account a few things. And then, of course, you have to take into account some handle stuff, like cork, carbon, EVA,
Different
all
materials.
that.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, you got your options of preformed grips, like you mentioned, Cork, CFX. We got half wells, reverse half wells, full wells, blah, 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 right? We got the preformed grips and real seats to match.
Yep.
But we're also going to dive into, of course, this is custom rod building. We got to talk about the custom side of this, right? Which is, taking cork rings. You're going to show a little bit different variation of how to ring those cork rings and how they go together.
Yes.
Most of the time, or what you'll probably see, is applying those to a mandrel. You're going to show a little bit different way of doing that, right?
Yeah, I am. It's you do kind of, sort of have to have some special tools. We're lucky here in the penthouse. We're going to have a few sneak peeks tonight. And one of those sneak peeks we're going to show you is going to be kind of geared towards that, and that's why we're showing it. So, as you mentioned, there's a mandrel, there's a lathe, there's things like that. Well, if you've got a power wrapper.
Yeah. Maybe a brand new one that's going to be released soon.
Maybe a brand spanking new one.
That
Yes,
helps. Yeah.
yes, it does.
Cool.
Awesome.
All right, so fly rod handles, we're going to do pre-made custom cork grips and kind of the start to finish on how to do those. I see you got some cook and show specials over here for us.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, we got a abundance of cork rings and all the real seats to fit them. We'll get into that a little bit later in the show.
Yep.
First, we got some new products to talk about. Some really awesome new products to talk about.
Yes,
so
we do.
I'm going to clear a little space
I
here.
was going to say, get your muscles ready.
Because this first one we got is, it's a little hefty. I'm not going to lie. And it's hefty for a reason. So this is, let's move that over a little bit. I think everything else is probably good. So this big guy here is the MHX HD heavy duty rod rack. Holds up to 20 rods. First and foremost, this is in stock now, ready to ship out the door.
All right.
So the guys will throw a link in there to the page, but this is our HD rod rack. Holds up to 20 rods. It's made out of HDPE material. Thank you, sir, for the assist. So the benefits, you can keep this thing on your dock. As soon as you get off the boat, you can throw your rods in here, spray them off if you're in salt water.
Yep.
You can keep it in your garage. You could even keep this thing in your boat if you got the room for it. This thing can it's indoor, outdoor. We got stainless steel, nuts and bolts, the whole nine. It's rugged, it's durable, it is heavy duty. It's about 20 pounds in total. So the base of this thing is sturdy. And what's also cool is, so you'll notice in these four corners, we have removable pieces that will actually allow you to put a unibutt.
You want to do the one up here?
Yeah, we can do that. So, give me the hand there. So these other four corners allow you to put a unibutt, a curved unibutt in there, and you can basically store any of your bent butt rods with reels very easily. You can store up to 4 of those.
Yep.
But like I said, 20 rods in total, and of course this isn't just for saltwater rods. This is for freshwater rod. Anything you name it, it will hold it. So we got the indentions in the base here. So once your rods are in there, they're secure, good to go.
Yeah, I think one of the most important parts about this is we spend a lot of time building stuff. But we need to protect it.
Yep.
And the best part about it is, if you've got a boat on a lift somewhere, you can put this outside, you can use it to rent stuff off, you can hose them down on this. I mean, the materials, the hardware, everything can withstand some of the harshest elements that you'll find. So if your rod can handle it, so can this rack.
Yep, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yep. So that's the MHX HD rod rack, brand new product in stock, ready to ship out. And again, not just a saltwater specific rod rack.
Nope.
Across the board, any rods that you got can fit this thing. So
That's it.
yep. All right, let's get this
All right, get your rack off the table.
out the way. And a couple more to dig into. I think we're going to take a little walk over to the other table.
Perfect.
Because we got 2 more to show off. So let's do that.
Let's go to the turning table.
All right.
Oh, how the turning tables.
Got to get some power to our RBS Pro G2.
Uh-huh.
So let's start with this bad boy right here.
Tell us all about it.
We good on angles there, guys? Looks like we're all right.
Yep.
So, if you've been keeping up with Mudhole at all, I'm sure you guys have seen this. We actually won an ICAST New Product Showcase Award for this unit right here. This is the RBS Pro G2 Power Wrapper by CRB Pro. It's a long time coming. We've had this one in the works for quite a while now.
Yeah. It's worth it, though.
This is going to be coming in sometime around the beginning of December, is what we're shooting for right now.
All right.
We might have a pre-order going out sometime in November. Stay tuned for that.
So there's your question, Naughty 7255.
Yeah. In the meantime, until we get the pre-order up, there is a website page that we have up. You guys can hit that email when available
Yes.
notification. So definitely do that. So a couple quick features. I'm not going to get into this completely just yet, but this thing has a built-in dryer. It has a digital readout for voltage. Obviously, we got the variable speed knob here. This thing is packed with features. We got an index chuck. We also have a rail on the top and on this back side for additional attachments down the road.
Yeah, it's got a dovetail. So
Yep.
this is a situation where you're going to be able to slide in extra attachments
Yep.
coming in the future, and it's a very interlocking, positive, section. So if you've got, well, I'm not going to give anything away, but we've got some parts and pieces coming that you can really amp this thing up even more.
Yep, absolutely. So that's kind of just the overview. Again, we'll get in this guy later on. We actually have it in stock, which is going to be very soon. In the meantime, go to that website page that the guys are linking there in the chat.
Yes.
Hit that email when available. Make sure you get signed up for that notification because when this thing goes into stock, they're going to go quickly. So we'll make sure we get you guys notified of that.
Yes, absolutely.
So that is the G2, RBS Pro G2. Last but not least, one more new product.
Okay.
So this guy right here, the tool rest, the CRB Pro hand and tool rest.
Yes.
This one is not in stock just yet, but it is expected to be here within probably 7 to 10 days.
Okay.
Again, website page, make sure you guys sign up, email when available. It'll be coming very, very soon. What's great about this is it will work with the RBS track, and it is adjustable up and down, as you can see this bar right here. So what this allows you to do is if you're turning grips, if you're finishing at a high speed, you're able to rest your hand or even a tool if you're using that to easily turn those grips or apply finish, whatever it might be. So CRB Pro hand and tool rest, like I said, coming within about a week or so. You can sign up for this now if you'd like. And again, get that notification when it does come into stock. But
Yeah, I think that's a really important part about this because we have very, very popular items that will be coming live here very soon.
yes.
You're going to want to know so that you don't miss out. And that is going to give you the moment that they go live. I mean, if it's midnight, if it's 2 o'clock in the morning, doesn't matter. You're going to get that email so that you don't have to go to the website and keep wondering and then go, I missed it. Sweet, I missed it. So.
And just one thing, because I have seen a few questions. Back to the G2, this will work with the existing RBS track, the RBS system, any accessories or equipment the G2 will work with, as will this tool rest, the hand and tool rest. It utilizes the T-bolts, which work with the middle track of the RBS track system. So both of these will work. Got to make sure the cat's working over there.
That's it. Well, somebody mentioned that he looks angry, and he is.
We gotta light his eyes up.
We got to have a little fun with this stuff.
All right, so that covers our new products. I think we're good to head back to the other table now.
All right. No, not.
We'll get
Cool.
back to, I think we're going to come back to that
Oh,
shortly.
we will. We absolutely will. So we took care of all that. Did we mention that we're giving stuff away? Did we give what it was? I don't think we
so.
did.
I don't think so.
Obviously, everybody comes here to see Hunter, his demos and stuff, but we're also giving stuff away. We're going to run his credit card pretty good tonight, doing some full wells grips, some aluminum fly seats. I'm also going to dig into the Cork ring bag, and we're going to give away for the second giveaway tonight. We're going to do custom Cork rings, some of the good stuff, trust me, some of the good stuff, and handle clamps, pro paste epoxy, different things like that. And then the grand prize, we're really charging it up. We're going with a fly rod kit tonight, native fly rod, CRB fly seats, guide sets, clamp, all that. So it's going to be a good one for sure. So thank you for all the new product stuff.
Of course.
Hunter. Why don't we go ahead and scroll that down there, Uncle Phil. And now, it's been a real fly week this week here at Mud Hole headquarters because we did have a fly rod class that just happened this past weekend. So we had Todd, who's the head instructor. He was downstairs with all of our other instructors in the education center here at the Mud Hole World headquarters in Oviedo, teaching everybody how to build a fly rod. Yep. So we figured that it would be pretty good to kind of piggyback on that and show a little of the custom handle aspects of that. So hopefully some of those that we get, I don't mean we, Mud Hole, not we, but Mud Hole gets very high marks on their classes and the education stuff. Todd and the whole bunch there, they do a great job.
Yeah, they do.
So.
And obviously we have our beginning rod building classes, but also check out the not necessarily more advanced, but the technique specific style classes, the fly rod. We do a surf class as well. Those are a little more limited as far as how many times a year we do those, but they are available. So.
Yep. So we have a photo contest. That is going to be the last photo contest of this year. It's, we do it quarterly, if you haven't caught on by now. And of course, the topic is going to be festive builds. So it's going to be one of those, kind of get your holiday spirits on, depending on what holiday it is. If you want to build a fishing rod that looks like a galvanized pole, and talk about feats of strength and things like that. Or whatever, but we've got festive builds coming. Why don't we go ahead and run that, Uncle Phil? There it is, coming in hot.
Bang.
All right, so Festive builds, that was CRB or MHX blank.
Yep.
Submit those photos by December 31st, 2022. I can't believe we're like getting close to that. That's wild. Another year gone. Of course, we are going to select the top 3, put the winners, the top 3 in the group, Mudhole Live Rod Builders Workshop, and then y'all get to vote to who gets the $100, $150, or $250 gift cards. Remember, as always, tag your builds with build the number 2 win. Hashtag build to win. That's how we find them in there. And if you don't do that, we can't find them. So one more giveaway. For those that have been following along, we gave away 25,000 mud bucks because we reached 25,000 members on the Mudhole Live Rod Builders Workshop. Speaking of. So we had James Ormsby the third. Sorry, James Ormsby the second, but James Ormsby the third won that. So 25,000 mud bucks coming out of the Mudhole Live Rod Builders Workshop because we reached 25,000 members. That's fantastic. So, you know, if you were in that 25,000, you were entered. But James, congratulations, man.
Absolutely.
All right, let's get this demo stuff going. Hunter, talk to us about preformed grips. Give me some shapes, give me some sizes. How do we set it up?
So yeah, we have, so you know, especially if you're just starting out building, or maybe it's your first fly rod and you don't really want to tackle, you know, the custom, full custom grips, the cork rings, all that good stuff. We have a assortment of great fly grips that are preformed. And again, we talked about, obviously, you know, cork, that's probably #1 by far choice material for a fly grip. CFX, I would say, is catching on some steam in the past few years. It's a very popular material, very durable. It's got a good grip to it, so it's becoming very popular for fly fishermen. And of course, you got the EVA as well. I would say EVA is not as popular, but
no, but it's durable and it's cost effective.
Yes, it's very cost effective. You guys will see, you know, for a grip, 7, 8-inch cork fly grip, they can get up there, especially if it's good quality.
Yes.
25, 30 bucks. You can get an EVA version for a fraction of that cost. So great cost-effective option there. So beyond materials, you could also, you know, kind of dive into different shapes. So for instance, we've got like a reversed half wells here.
Okay.
Very common on, you know, fly weights up to, I'd say, what do you think, 5, 6 weight?
Yeah, you
maybe
know,
7.
Well, right. So when you see a lot of freshwater fly rod builds, you're going to there's going to be crossover.
Right.
Right. So you're going to have crossovers where, you know, you might go from a 5 weight to a 6 weight, and maybe that's where you start to use a fighting butt and a full wells.
Right, right.
You know, or, you know, some people might say, oh no, I still want to use that in freshwater, that in saltwater. We always have to kind of get rid of that myth of, oh, well, you can't do a full wells in freshwater. I'm somebody that does things not by the book. So, and I'm going to show you here.
Okay.
What you might walk into in a store, you might find what you just showed, right?
Reverse half wells.
So that's a reverse half wells on a 3 weight.
Right.
Okay. On the other hand, I have a modified full wells on a native 3 weight. So this is the native 3 weight in the brook trout color. This is one of my favorites. And this is just one of those options that you can do when you do a little custom turning. So we used nice clean cork. It's a modified full wells. So you kind of see this is what maybe a full wells that is shaped, preformed, as we call it, that you might find in a shop, okay? And then of course I turned a little bit shorter. You see the one on the bottom is a little bit shorter, and it doesn't have as deep of wells in it, because it is a 3 weight. And then I even put a little fighting butt on. So This is something you might find on a custom rod builder's table, but it has nothing to do with, whether that's right or whether that's wrong. It's just, I wanted that shape of a grip because of the way that, it feels in my hand.
Yeah.
And, what it could be too is, do you have maybe arthritis or things like that? So there's a lot to talk about in terms of handles, but yes, when we're talking full wells and reverse half wells, that's pretty much what you're going to get.
Yeah. And that's kind of the general rule of thumb. Usually reverse half wells is up to 6 or 7. Full wells kind of takes the rest up to, your 12 and 16 way, anything above that. But like Chris said, when it really boils down to it, you can use a full wells or a modified full wells on a 2-weight, a 3-weight, a 4-weight. Yeah. You can even take this preformed grip and shape it on your lathe at home.
Yes.
You don't have to stick to this exact shape. If the contour on the front is a little too blunt for you, you can round that edge or take more of the contour down, or you can modify even these preformed grips.
Absolutely. I mean, it's still just cork or EVA. Now, you will have a little bit of a time.
Yeah, I wouldn't advise that.
Couldn't get after this.
I would leave the CFX grips alone.
Yep, you can't get after that one.
Yep. So that's kind of the materials, shapes, and there's really just 2 main shapes, I would say, for the grips themselves. There's obviously modified versions and probably a few lesser known, but those are the 2 most common shapes, at least.
Yeah, and like I said, especially if you're going to walk into a fly shop and buy one off the rack, you're probably going to see 2 options.
Yeah.
You're going to see the reverse half and the full.
Yep.
There are some manufacturers, as you said, kind of that look that I have. They're calling that a snub nose full wells. You're starting to see that on 4s and 5 weights, just because people are wanting it, because it is nice and comfortable. You might start to see that when there's some major manufacturers out there that are putting that on factory builds, but again, those are the 2 you're probably going to see.
So moving on to reel seats. So keep in mind when you are choosing a fly grip, you're going to have basically 2 variations aside from the shape itself. You're going to have either a version that is inletted already or a version that is not inletted. Now, what that is going to refer to is also what type or which version of the reel seat that you pick out. For instance, on the one that has this inlet here, I am going to pick, hopefully, the right one.
This guy right here?
That one, yep.
Yep.
So that is going to fit perfectly inside of my cork inlet here for this reel seat. Now, this reel seat particularly is the AFS 8R.
Yes. R that is the designation. The R designation is the one where it's recessed into
Correct.
the grip. Okay.
Yeah, R is going to be recessed.
Because we have both.
We do have both.
All right.
Which leads me to the other version. So, for instance, if you get a cork grip that is not inletted, it is just solid on the end, you want to go for a reel seat that does not have a recessed lip on the fixed hood. So that is going to mate up exactly like that, and it does not recess into the cork grip. When you're on the website page for the majority of these grips, it will specifically tell you which reel seats match up, or vice versa.
Absolutely.
If you're on the reel seat page, for instance, if you're checking out the, these are the WFS
yes.
reel seats, which are the wood insert versions. These are more common on your lower weight fly rods, anywhere from, a 2-weight to probably like a 5 or 6 weight. These are recessed, so they will fit, and I don't know if, yep, right here. They will fit this half wells grip just like that. So keep that in mind when you are choosing your grip and or reel seat. Especially if it has a cutout, more than likely there is a reel seat that fits it. So, and just talking about reel seats a little bit more, there's versions that obviously have the wood insert. There's versions that are all aluminum. Price comes down to it. Honestly, there's a big price difference between the 2. Yeah. These are going to retail in like the $35 to $40 range for the wood inserts, which we have maybe 4 or 5 different wood insert variations.
Yes, with multiple colors.
Multiple colors, yes.
Black and polished.
Yes. And then for the all aluminum reel seats, these are a little bit more cost effective. But again, we have a size 7, a size 8, I think, 2 different versions of an 8 actually.
do.
One has a double locking nut.
That one has a double. Yep.
Just like that. Then we also have a size 10, which is for your much larger, to accommodate much larger fly reels. So,
Yep.
but yeah, that's kind of your overview of materials, shapes, grips, reel seats. Anything I missed in there?
I don't think so. I do want to touch on, you had mentioned the double locking nut.
Yes.
So there is, on this AFSR 8, these are double locking nut with Delrin inserts, okay? These are going to lock against each other. It gives you a little bit extra holding power. This is for, technically more your saltwater, your spay type builds. But this is going to be something that is going to handle anything that you're going to throw at it in terms of saltwater. I mean, this is, tarpon and billfish. I mean, it's going to handle it. So in fly reels, there is the AFTA. They kind of designate what the fly reel foot should be like. About 99% of every fly reel should be like right on. So don't feel like, oh, if I have a 10 weight, I have to go to a bigger fly reel seat. Now, you're not going to want to use this single locking nut wood insert seat on a 10 weight, but something like the AFS 8R with a double locking nut is going to fit something like a 10 or 11 weight because the foot is going to be similar. It's not like on a spinning reel where, a 3,000 size spinning reel and an 8,000 size spinning reel have different size feet.
Right.
So your 8 weight and a 10 weight, those fly reels are going to have the same size foot.
Yep.
So that's just kind of when picking a seat, something to keep in mind.
And a couple other things that I'm thinking of. So keep in mind that not all, but most of these fly seats do come with an end cap.
Yes.
Now, again, not all of them. Once you get up into the
This one
larger sizes,
does not.
they do not come with an end cap. The reason being is most of the time you're going to be using a fighting butt. So there's no reason to put an end cap here if you got a 10 weight fly rod, you're going to be putting a fighting butt. So just keep that in mind when you are choosing your reel seat. Some do come with end caps, the majority, but there are some that do not.
Now do keep in mind, if you've got to have an end cap for that AFS 8R, you still can get it.
Yes.
We still have it.
That's correct.
It just doesn't come with it.
Right.
Because 99% of the time you're not using an end cap with that reel seat. And another thing to keep in mind too, the inletted seats, they are up locking only, right? Because the grip is going to be on this end, fighting butt down here. If you have a non-inletted grip, you can technically turn it to be an up locking or a down locking, however you want to fish it. There are some fly reel seats, I think. I have one in here. There are some fly reel seats, like this one. I built this one for the wife. Again, we've got a 4 weight, a snub nose full well. This is an a down locking seat. So you see the fixed hood is down here at the bottom. Slide band comes down, captures the reel foot, and then this screws and locks down. So it all kind of depends on, what you want in terms of look and feel. I really had no real reason to make this one a down locking, except I thought it looked nice, and I had it at the house, so I built it. So that's going to be your down locking seat.
Cool.
Cool.
Cool, cool, cool. Well, I think that...
You want to give some away?
I think so. I think
Why
that
not?
covers as far as grips and reel seats go. So let's give away. What's our first giveaway? It's going to be actually a full Wells grip with a CRB aluminum fly seat.
All right.
So something that looks similar to this, right? Let's see who we got for the first giveaway tonight. Full Wells grip with a CRB aluminum fly seat. Who's it going to be? Rick Payne.
Nice.
Is that a YouTube?
Yes.
Nice.
Coming
Coming
out
out
of
of YouTube. Rick Payne. Congratulations.
Absolutely.
Cool, cool, cool.
Trying to see here. At least want to get this just on here enough so that.
You got any questions while you're finishing that up?
Yeah, we got a couple questions here. I wanted to touch on. So before we close that out, Rick, congratulations. You saw there at the bottom, live@mudhole.com. That's how to get a hold of me so that I can charge his credit card for the winning item. All right, so let me go back here. I want to touch on something here real quick. I'm going to go ahead and answer this right now. Absolute Carrot coming out of YouTube. What's the best way to create your own inlet? So there are a couple ways to create your own inlet. We do have kind of a cool tool here. It's a two-part tool. This is going to be a cork ring holder, okay? And you're going to put the cork ring in this clamp that you can hand hold, all right? So you would take a cork ring, slide it in, and you can hand hold this thing and keep your hand away from any kind of drill bit, any kind of Dremel tool. Some people will use a spade bit. Some people use just a larger general drill bit. Some people use a Dremel tool. You can actually take and trace on this cork and then kind of work your way around the piece of cork with a Dremel tool. That's how I prefer to do it. I just feel like I'm a little more steady-handed for that. If you have a drill press at the house, for all you shop guys and girls out there, you can put these together. This fits in this. You can clamp it down to your drill press, fits in there, wind your drill press down, and take care of business with that. Now, what you would do there is you would use your digital caliper. You would mic the hood here. I don't think we've got one, do we?
I don't see one.
So you would mic the hood, and then you would get as close as you can drill bit size and cut your hole in your cork. Now, there's something that I do that I think cleans the cutting up a little bit. So with the cork, you kind of have to be careful a little bit because cork is notorious at chipping. So I have, let me see if it's in here. Sorry, I brought a grab bag tonight, everybody. All right, I swear I got it. All right, so on this handle here, I actually use, this is a composite ring here. So there's rubber particles inside this ring. I use that, well, I use it on both ends here, but I tend to use it on this end especially because this is the end that I'm cutting into. With this rubber in this composite cork, it just cuts much cleaner and it doesn't chip. Also, another part of your cork grips that chip before all other parts of your cork from use or sticking a fly in it are these end pieces. So it's not a bad idea to use some composite cork in that one. This is the 250 size. So I like using the 250 size as opposed to the 500. Now granted, this is regular cork, but this composite comes in 500, which is ½ inch, and this is 1/4 inch. So I am somebody that likes 1/4 inch trim rings, and especially in the composite that you see there. So that's another little tidbit there. All right, so, oops. There you go. That is a very long-winded question, but what else are you going to get from me, right? All right.
All right, so our next demo up. So you're going to run us through basically how to set up this custom cork grip.
Yeah.
If you're starting with just the cork rings. And again, we've shown the mandrel method before. You're going to show us a little variation of that,
Right.
not necessarily using the mandrel. So, you got any questions? You want to dig into that?
You know, just really, really quickly. So when we talk about mandrels, this is what we talk about, right? Gluing cork rings on a mandrel, using mandrel wax, waxing the mandrel. All your cork rings are here. Then you're going to turn it on a lathe because you chuck this mandrel in. It's got a live center. We sell these mandrels, and they got a live center on them. So it's nice because then you end up with somebody like this. Nice shaped, kind of modified full wells, got burnt cork rings on the end. Just an attractive fly grip, right? We've shown this on the show. This is how a lot of people do it. Then what you have to do is you have to take this, knock this off the mandrel. You have to ream out this cork grip, which, you know, is not always perfect because your reamers are not always exactly shaped to any blank. So, you know, it might be a little too much on one end, not enough on another. You might have to fight it a little bit, but it's really not that difficult. That's how we do it all the time. So I'm going to talk about using the G2 Power Wrapper, because if you've got a G2 Power Wrapper, or really any power wrapper, you can, especially whether it's our G1 or another brands, you can actually ream and install all of your cork rings right here on this rod blank, and you fit each cork ring individually. So I'll take them and ream and fit every single cork ring that I'm going to stack and build this grip. And then what we're going to do is we'll put our CRB handle clamp on here, let it cure up, and then put it right in the RBS Pro G2. And it won't ever come out because we're going to chuck it in, we're going to sand it, wrap the guides on it, put the finish on it, and it's never got to come out of the wrapper.
Cool.
So now you kind of have a more inclusive workbench. You're not having to move it all over the place, break it, damage it, anything like that. So we're going to imagine that we have installed this fly seat here. I, as you know, am a tape arbor guy.
Correct.
So we've got our tape arbors here, and we're ready to go. I'm going to let you kind of hold and steady
Sure.
that. Now, I've got one here, and I'm going to kind of mimic this one.
So
this
that's
is
the halfway finished.
This is the cooking show method.
Yes.
So I'm going to show you how we got here. All right? Because I've got CRB aluminum reel seat with an end cap and cork rings already glued to this 3-weight here. So I go through and lay everything out. I am going to use a couple burnt rings.
Okay.
Right? 2 burnt rings.
Those are going to be the end caps, pretty
Those
much.
are going to be the end caps.
Okay.
And then we've got our clear cork here. I'm also going to use, this is the what? We call this burl?
I think so.
Is that what that's what we call it on the website, right?
Is that blue?
This is blue. So this is burl cork, and it has blue pigment swirls in it. So it actually looks pretty cool, especially when it's on the blue CRB Color Series 5-weight. Actually, that's teal.
Teal.
But, you know, whatever, right? So we'll use some of those. And when measuring the grips, each one of these cork rings are going to be a 1/2 inch. So those are quarters. We've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, right? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So that's a 6-inch grip.
1/2.
2 quarters. There it is. All right. Should have been a dealer. I can't count that high. All right. We've got drill, extreme reamer. This is the small extreme reamer because that's probably all we're going to need. Let's go ahead and go. So we're going to start here. Now, be very careful with this guy, all right? You have the cork ring holder if you want to use it. I tend to use this if I'm using a drill bit. I will just kind of freehand with a reamer because I'm not putting a ton of force or using a lot of speed. But on this, you can get it off center here pretty easy. I ream like this, straight up and down. It helps me keep everything so, get one going. You notice that is just about right. You want it to be snug. You don't want to hear the cork going, because it will do that. And that is the exact sound effect that it makes. So, slides nice and snug. That's fitted. Go ahead.
Okay. So this is one by one. You're working backwards.
Yes.
From the other method.
And you also kind of start to learn like how snug that one was and how far to work down your your extreme reamer here.
Right.
Okay, like that. Then we'll go clear. Whoa! See? This isn't too bad.
No. And this definitely gives you a much more accurate, ID for your fly grip.
It does.
The end result is much better than, like you said, once you have a fully built grip and then you try to ream it, the longer the grip is, 7, 8 inches, the more margin for error, I guess you could say, for reaming too much or not having a proper taper. This gets it down to the exact ream.
Yep. This is, So if we didn't go enough, here's one where we didn't go enough. That's a little too tight. I don't like that because there's you want it snug, but not that snug. So that gives you an idea. That one didn't really chirp, but I don't like it to be that snug. Uncle Phil's going to be mad. He's going to be sweeping all night tonight back here. He's going to miss the Hot Pockets.
All right, 3 more.
And as we go through this, you're going to be losing taper. So you're going to want to work not as far down the reamer. Maybe like right there. Earlier we were here. You don't need as much taper. Honestly, I feel like that this is quicker than if I'm having to ream a whole handle, because I'm constantly trying to, like ream a little bit, a little bit more, a little bit more. So there you go. Now, we've got all these rings here. Okay, I take this, take it on the top of the rod bench. Just pull them here. Come on. All right. Right? So now we're good. Hold that for me.
Sure.
I'm just going to show you this with just one part. I'm going to mix it all up. So, take a little bit of epoxy. Please understand that you need to mix this 50-50, right? So, got a little epoxy. You have already epoxied the reel seat, okay? I just want to show you how this goes. So I'm going to take it. I'm going to put a little bit of epoxy on the rod blank. Okay? Hold on. We're going to take this piece here. Get with me. There we go. Here we go. Take this top one. Come up and turn it over, right? Because we're following the taper. Whew. I know. Here we go. Coming down. Got it. All right. Now, from here, I'm going to put a little epoxy. I'm going to spin it. And I'm going to wipe this piece like this. Come all the way around it. Okay? And leave some here on the blank, right? Take this piece. Come up, turn it over. Slide it down. Made it up. Now, when I do this, I spin it. Okay? Push it down, and we're done. That's how you do it every time. Blank, piece of cork, take a new piece, come down. So what we've got is we have epoxy that is now on this bottom ring, on the top of the bottom ring, and on the blank. So we are not only gluing the cork rings together, but we're gluing them to the blank all at the same time. All right? So we would finish this all out. I'm just going to put all these back on here real quick. Like I said, when you do it, take them and turn them over. Because you do have a little bit of taper in the reamer, so we want it to be the best that it possibly can. And remember, if you put epoxy on these rings, you're probably going to wipe it all down this rod blank. So that's why I put it on these rings when they're already on the rod blank. Just a little pro tip, right? All right, so those are all glued up. Hold that for me. This is our CRB handle clamp. What's the part number on this?
CRB-DHC.
DHC, okay. See, I didn't get you there. All right, oh, where is it at? I had it, I thought.
What you need?
I was looking for the box to this because I wanted to show the box. Y'all done run off with the box.
It's a little
Come
guy.
on, Uncle Phil. It is a little guy. But in small size, there's important pieces. Throw it up here. All right, so CRB Deluxe Handle Clamp by CRB. All right, this has a base clamp, which is this guy here, right? It's got your bungee type cord, right? And it has a number of these pieces. They're like sized discs, okay? If you notice, the little hole in the center is a certain size, and this cutout is a certain size. There's 3 others just like this, but different sizes. So let me show you those real quick, because I got them in the box. You've noticed we've got different size center holes. All right, it's not working. Here we go, stand by. All right, different size center holes. That's going to be for different size mandrels, because if you guys know, we've got different mandrel sizes, different blanks sizes, all that stuff. And then, of course, we've got a solid disc, too. So you got a couple different options. Let me lower that a little. Whoop, perfect. All right, so we got a couple different sizes. These are the little slots that lock on to the bungee. And as you see here, I just tied a knot in this piece, and it just snugs up the height of this handle because it's the height of this. So there's kind of the reference in height difference, because you want it to be snug. So you don't want it to be the same height, because then there'll be no force, right? So this is going to fit down into the base, and there's a little recess, kind of a section down in there that's the same size of a cork ring. And what that does is that will help kind of stabilize a cork ring if you're using a cork ring, if you're using a fighting butt, if you're using a blank, it doesn't really matter. Plus, there's also a hole in the bottom of this thing. So there is a hole in the bottom. Yep, there's a hole in the bottom there. So if you're just using it on a mandrel, the mandrel will go through there. But we're not doing that. because we don't need it. Because we've got the RBS Pro. We're going to mount it right to this fly rod blank. Locks right in there, and there you have it, okay? You can see it grabs that cork really nicely, slides the blank in, slides the blank out, and there you go. That is how I let this dry. Before I start turning on any of this stuff, I like the Pro Paste to dry for 24 hours. Now, there might be some people, sorry I haven't been looking at the comments, and some people might be saying like, oh, well, shouldn't you use wood glue, or oh, shouldn't you use that glue, or shouldn't you use that glue? I'm not saying don't, but for me, I'm gluing not only the cork together, but I'm gluing the cork to the blank at the same time, and I've never had a failure with Pro Paste or U40 rod bond or anything like that. I feel, in my personal opinion, that you can't use wood glue to glue a handle to a blank, all right? You can probably do the cork rings together, great, I'm happy for you. But I'm doing it all in one motion. I feel like I'm getting a better bond, and everything is going to be better with Pro Paste.
Cool.
So just going to go ahead and turn that, cover that question if it has already been asked. So I will hit Edward here. Edward says, how much tension are you looking for? You really shouldn't have to like grit to get this up, but there's a pretty good amount of tension there. There really is. I mean, it's, you know, I don't know how many PSI we're pulling on this bad boy, but this is not something that you should just be able to like, you know, easily slide off. I mean, it's, what would you call that? Would you call that toit? Toit. All right, so that is the official rod building definition. It's toit. So that is about the tension you want.
Yeah, when you set this up, you know, you don't want your top piece here to be, you know, without tension. You don't want it to be near the top to where you just kind of slide it on. You want it to be maybe halfway up. That way you're actually pulling tension and locking it in.
Exactly. So if we're going to slide this off, that's about where we're looking at relaxed. Okay. And this is with, what is that fly seat's probably 4 inches. This is a 6.5 inch cork grip here. So that kind of gives you like height wise at home. And we're looking at about halfway, you know, down there. And again, there it is. So there you have it, Mr. Edward. I hope that definition answered it for you. Cool. Yes, Mr. Hollingsworth II. Saves so much time and a better bond. I couldn't agree more. So that's why we wanted to show you. But it is unique because most of the time you can't just take a real you can't take, you know, a fly rod and just chuck it into a lathe unless you're set up pretty sweet. But having something like a power wrapper is very useful for something like this. So there it is.
All right, all right.
Cool.
So I think we're ready for giveaway number 2 of the night. So giveaway number 2, we're going to do a custom cork grip kit. So we're going to throw in some cork rings, maybe 2 different variations, maybe some better grade, and then maybe some burnt cork.
Yeah, I'm going to go through and just kind of...
maybe some rubberized cork. We'll see what we got.
You're paying for it,
yeah.
so...
we're going to throw in a Deluxe handle clamp, and then also some Pro Paste to go along with it. All right, giveaway number 2 of the night.
Let's do it.
Who do we have?
Trouble and How.
Trouble and How.
I saw they commented earlier.
Another out of YouTube.
Yeah. Trouble and How said, I build spay rods, and the difference is length and two-handed grips and large guides. Absolutely. So, Trouble and How came in early tonight. Stuck around for a little giveaway. Congratulations. And again, live at mudhole.com. That's how you get a hold of me. And yeah,
cool.
That's how we do it.
All right, moving on.
All right.
So it'll be the final demo for tonight.
Yeah.
So we're gonna, hypothetically, this is set up. We'll let this cure 24 hours. Ta-da!
There it is.
So we got this.
I think Brooke was talking about, this is like the Julia Childs, like they're like, woo, everybody, you know. So now we have it all done and ready to rock. We're glued up here. Everything's stayed nice and centered, nice and compact. We got the reel seat already on here. And we're gonna walk you through how we're gonna set this up in the new power rack.
Cool.
Ready?
Let's take a walk.
All right, cool. Here you go. Let's go over to the turning table. Perfect. All right,
I'll let you take
let's fire this thing up.
position A.
All right, cool. So, I have, I've got some sandpaper here. I also have some sanding screen here. Depends on how you like to go about sanding your grips, but the sanding screen is nice because it helps knock down some of the high spots. You're going to have some glue and such coming off of here because there is a little bit of glue buildup. Will you go see up there above the safety glasses?
Yep.
And I believe we do have a mask down below for me, please. Safety first, everybody. Perfect. All right. So, we've got reel seat, grip. We're using Pro Stand. And I don't know, can you give, can we zoom in on this, the chuck here? So, Hunter had mentioned earlier that, I think you talked about that this is indexed.
Yeah, briefly, very briefly.
Very briefly, he says. So, the chuck head is indexed, and we've got degree marks every 15 degrees all the way around this, right? So if I'm going to go ahead and set this up right out of the gate, I am going to line it up. I'm going to open the jaws here. We're going to slide in the reel seat. I'm actually going to slide this locking nut up. And if you notice, we've got the CRB Products logo vertical. What that's going to do is that's going to help me line up 0 degrees here on this chuck. And all that's going to do is help me maintain center and vertical 0 degrees as we work through the rod build. That's really all this is. It honestly doesn't have anything to do with turning, but if we're going to chuck it in here, I wanted to mention it because then we've got 0 degrees. We can turn it over to 90 when we're putting decals on the side here, because on a fly rod, the reel is going to hang down. And if you want to see any decals, the decals are going to be on 90 degrees on either side of the rod. So we've got every 15 degrees indexed on this chuck. We'll make sure this is nice and tight. This fits in here, and we're going to get the old Pro Stand down, get these locked in. Doesn't need to be crazy tight, but we don't want it loose because we don't want her coming out. I don't know, we haven't released any of the official numbers on this RPM spinning, but I can tell you,
It's got some power.
it's got some power.
A lot of juice.
Will you cut me a little piece of that sanding screen there, please, sir?
Here, make you take that.
Yeah, actually, you might even just be able to tear it. All right.
Like that.
You talked about the, yeah, that's fine. All right, so you talked about how you could dial this thing up, all right? Out here on the outside, we could turn it up, we could turn it down. So we got it running. Now, if you are somebody that wants to use hand and tool rest, this will slide in and out. It'll pivot for you. You can rest your hand on here, like so. Or if you're using actual tools to lay against here and chip it. I'm not somebody that tends to use tools on cork. And if you want to, you can, with a quick little turn, get this guy out of here. So that is great about this. This is very heavy duty. It's got the rubber gasket on the bottom. It's going to stay where you put it. Keeps you safe.
Yep.
So if you want to use that with tools, use it. I'm going to show you here, kind of keep my hands free. I just am going to show you how we walk through this. I'm not going to go crazy. So using sanding screen, I'm going to walk down and back on this. All that's going to do is help knock some of this down. You can see that the sanding screen kind of cleans itself, right? So it's knocking out pieces of cork and it's filtering it out through the screen. It makes pretty quick work without chipping the cork. If you start digging at this cork, it's really going to become a mess really, really quickly. And no, it wasn't turned up all the way. So it'll get it. So again, I'm not going to keep y'all all night long while I turn this cork, but sanding screen, it's very nice to have. It's going to knock that down. And then I come in with multiple grits of sandpaper. This is 120. We sell it, is it 60 or 80?
I do not know offhand.
Well.
I know,
all
I
right.
know.
So
shame on me.
It's 60 or 80, 120, and then 320. I work through all of those grits. If you want to go even higher than that, it gets like super velvety once you get up past like 500. But even at the 320, it's incredibly nice. So that is how you incorporate this into the G2 Power Wrapper. It's incredible because, like I said, we can wind it up and I can dial it back down. So if you want to finish at, this is like finish speed. Put some finish on there. You need to dial it back just a little bit more, or do that and sling finish all over your workshop. That's fantastic. But and then from there, Hunter, you're just going to move this belt.
Yeah.
When it's time to dry.
Yeah, and what's great is you also have two different belts that we're going to include. One has the, I don't know, the
it's like teeth, but it's,
yeah. It's got like built-in teeth along the whole belt.
Not that it doesn't have teeth on the pulley wheels.
Right. And just take this off real
There you
quick.
go.
And I'm not sure if you guys can pick that up on the camera, but so this belt is going to be used primarily for higher speeds. If you're finishing at a high rate of speed, if you're turning handles, this is going to be your go-to belt. You can also use it for the dryer, or we're going to include a light-duty belt, which again can switch over to your dryer just like that, and you're good to go.
Now show them both side by side. I think that's what Uncle Phil was wanting.
Sorry about that. Got here. We good on that side?
Perfect. Ooh.
Yeah. So this one right here, I'm going to kind of turn it inside out. You can kind of see the contours on the inside. It's got the teeth. And then this one over here in my left hand, just more of a light-duty belt.
Yep.
But again, both of these smaller pulleys have 2 steps. Large pulley also has 2 steps. So, and we'll get the final details for all the RPMs and the different steps there. But
more than you gonna need.
yes, absolutely.
And that's quotable there from CRB. So there it is. So you would obviously work this down, but the great part about gluing each cork ring fitted together, clamped, I think we've all kind of had a rod that maybe the handle has maybe either come off, or it's got a squeak in it, or it's got a crack in it. That is because of a poor bond between the cork and the rod blank. That's not going to happen in this build. And it's very important because there is a lot of torque that's being applied to a fly grip. You know, it's not like maybe a casting or a spinning, you know, you're not necessarily really gripping on it because you got the rod, or you have the reel and the reel seat in one hand, and it's all handle, it's all cork, or whatever material you might be using that's taking all the force. So you want to be sure that you do it correctly. So,
Cool.
all right. Back over behind the rod building bench.
Back to the main stage.
That's it. Somebody said it's called a cogged belt.
Oh, there you go.
All right.
I guess that's what we'll have to call it then.
Now, I will say, I almost forgot, I don't know if John Boy is watching tonight, but we've got John Boy's custom rods right here. There it is, sticker ready to go, going to the sticker wall. So John Boy's custom rods, wife approved. They just like to hold my rod. There it is, going on the wall. You also can send your rod building branded decals to us here at Oviedo, at World Headquarters, Mudhole. And we'll put them, if I can get them off the backing paper, I'll get it on the wall here. And you'll be a part of the Spooktacular set. Old John Boy going up on the wall.
Love it.
Awesome. We appreciate it. Cool.
All right.
Yeah, and there's the address in there. Now, real quick here for Steve. When do you expect to have them in stock?
Early December.
Early December.
But, like I said, the plan is to do a pre-order.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Because I have a feeling, I mean, I've seen a couple people in here ready to get that credit card out now.
Yeah, well,
So
gotta wait just a little bit.
Might have a pre-order, and also maybe the, now, is that one, can you put in the email that says notify me?
As of right now, what you can do is go to the website. I'm sure the guys have linked it multiple times. Go to the product page and sign up for the email when available. Now, that's just a notification you're gonna get when it actually does come into stock. We also have plans to open up a pre-order at some point, probably later November. So be on the lookout for that, and at that time is when you can go crazy and buy as many as you want. But until then, just hit that email when available. Now, that'll get you the notification when it actually does get into stock.
Yes. Real quick here, are the jaws coated or should tape be used on the blanks? If you are using the Pro roller stands, the Pro stand has silicone ringed wheels. I haven't seen them mark up a blank yet. If you want to put tape on the rod blank, it's not going to hurt anything, but those do a really nice job of protecting your rod blank, even at high speed.
Yeah.
So
the jaws for the chuck also are rubber as well.
yes.
So those again will not mark up your blank or cause anything like that.
Correct. They're rubber, which is probably what he was asking, and I just went a completely different direction.
All
But
good.
yes, thank you for that. That's why we're a team up.
Yep.
All right, cool. Cool. Yep, shop vac floor sweep. That is exactly right.
Well, how many questions are you working with over there? Are we able to maybe do a little?
Not a ton. We're gonna do just fine on rapid fire, but let's go ahead, and if anybody has some questions, go ahead and throw them in there. We'll do rapid fire. We'll do rapid fire. Go ahead. Try that.
Rapid fire
There it is. Rapid fire
Q&A.
Q&A. We're gonna do 7 minutes. We're also gonna make sure that we didn't forget anything. If we forgot something, it's also gonna get taken care of in the next 7 minutes. Because it is 7:40. That's not too bad. So yeah, throw those questions in there. Let me come back. Here we go. How much different is the native fly rod from the CRB fly rod? So the material is a main difference. All right. The materials, just like we talk about in from like an MHX standard to an Elite Pro to an Elite X, you're having different materials in there. The CRB material is a lower modulus material, okay? It's a little more durable. The weight is slightly more, but it's not that much. It's not really that much. But what it's going to do is it's going to change the way the blank behaves. So when you hear people talk about that rod, the fly rod, it recovers faster, or the rod has a faster tip section, or it's quicker, or things like that. That's where the differences start to come in. The recovery rate on a native fly rod is quicker. The blanks are a little bit faster. But both are very easy to fish by pretty much all levels. If it was me and I hadn't built a fly rod yet, and maybe you are not what I would call an advanced caster, the CRB is incredible. I actually fish them in all weights. The price, you can't beat the price.
Yep.
And I just really like them. I mean, I do use the 3 and the 5 weight a ton, because for trout and me, like, you know, I don't necessarily have to have like ultra fast speed. Now out on the flats, I do tend to lean towards the native stuff a little bit. Some of the faster blanks across manufacturers. In the saltwater, you deal with a little more harsher conditions and wind and different things like that. But for your all-around fly fishing, the CRB blank it's the one that you can take anywhere. You can leave it in your truck. You can catch anything on it. It's just the workhorse of all fly rod blanks that we have. And you're not going to be disappointed in them, I promise you. We talked about the inlets. What's the best fly grip for a 14 weight? The 14 weight, at that point, you're going to be, you know, you could beat somebody up at the dock with it and then go catch a sailfish with it. You know, with those, you even see a two-handed grip. So it almost kind of looks like a spade grip, or it is a regular full wells. If this was a full wells grip, it looks like a full wells, and then it has an extension on it, okay? And sometimes this one has wells in it, and this one also has wells in it. I'm not a huge fan of that style of a rod. Maybe on a 14 weight, because it's almost impossible to break. But if you're in like an 11 weight and you're tarpon fishing, I just think that having a longer grip or a two-handed grip, it makes you want to like push your hands up the rod blank, and then you're going to start flexing it at a point it's not designed to flex at, and then you're going to end up with like a 6 or 7 piece fly rod instead of a 4-piece one. So I try not to do that too much. I saw this comment earlier, BK Clay, reel seats, the end caps are great to engrave initials at local jewelers. That is exactly right.
Great idea.
I actually did a coin in this one. This is a Spanish coin here. I actually got when I went to Spain a few years ago, and I was like, yeah, that works for me. Doesn't really say much about trout fishing, but it looks kind of cool. So if you've got a coin, put it in a fighting butt. If you've got an end cap, you can get initials engraved on it, something like that. So add a little decorative flair to your fly rod builds. The trout, the bonefish, the redfish, they appreciate it. Seems like they do, right?
Of course they do.
Also, I told your dad I would touch on this. So I don't see the question in here. Well, let me go back here real quick. So let me do this. We'll do this one. Eric, this is a great question. How do I know which length of fly rod to get? When in doubt, get a 9-footer. Okay, that is the most common length of a fly rod, period. Outside of that, until you start getting super technical on like how you cast and all of those things, think about where you're going to be fishing. Okay, the native 3-weight is I think a 7.6, because it's 7.6. The 4-weight is 7.9, and then it goes to 8.6 and 5. 8, 6, 5 weight, and then also 9-foot 5 weight, and then 9-footers for everything. Your 9-footers are going to be very common in your saltwaters and heavier freshwaters. You start getting all these weird kind of cute lengths, mainly because of the terrain you're going to be fishing. So that native is 7.6. We also called it the brook trout kind of paint scheme, and where I was using it was on a stream in North Carolina. You got to kind of hike in. You're kind of leaning under, bushes, over rocks, little cast, little roll cast, little bow and arrow, some things like that that you could not do with a 9-footer. Because every time you'd pick that 9-footer up, you'd go to make a cast and you'd go, oh, sweet. All right, break it off. Which you don't want to do because you don't want to leave behind flies and broken tippets in trees and stuff. So when you start thinking about something outside of a 9-footer, Eric, think about what you're going to do with it. Are you going to be in some really tight wooded areas, some creeks, some things like that where you need that shorter length? Because if you don't need the shorter length, get a 9-footer and just quit worrying about having, oh, do I need a 7/6 or an 8-footer or all that? Because there's tons of lengths out there, but figure out where you need to do it. Alan, what type of fly rod would work for smaller brooks and rivers? Get that 7/6, that 7/9, 2/8, 3-weight, something like that. That native 3-weight. We also make an 8-foot 4-weight in the MHX. It's a really, really cool, unique size, unique length. It's a great blank as well. Chuck, what are the best guides for a 5-weight? I'm somebody that in some of my freshwater builds, I build single footers just because I don't want to wrap double-footed guides. That's all there is to that. It cuts down on the wraps. There's more arguments behind it. I don't believe in all of them, but get you some single footers. We have some great guide sets on the website. So yeah, that was my 7 minutes. Yeah, so now, really, really quickly before we give away this last, I wanted to touch on reel seats that we didn't show. All right, and this is for your dad. I told him we would do it.
I already know what's coming.
This is a Fuji TVS with a locking hood, okay? You may or may not have seen this on spinning reels or spinning rods because these are spinning reel seats. This reel seat, even though it is not designed for a fly rod, okay, will probably hold your fly reel better than any fly seat on earth. What it's also not going to do is it's also not going to possibly scratch your expensive fly reel. So this is an 8-weight I built, full Wells grip, turned it, got a TVS seat with a little bit of blue carbon insert. You can see this has been very well used, and the blank is also blue, so it matches the blue insert here. And I even went as far as putting a custom fighting butt on the locking hood. Notice I haven't done that since. It's awesome, but I just don't want to spend any more time in that. I did it once and I love it, but outside of that, I'm good. You can also, as I showed on the native 3-weight, this is an SK seat. So this again, it's a spinning seat. They're very light. I put a carbon insert in here, really because we just wanted to show it on the show one time, so we showed it. I actually put a decal here in the finish because I put some finish. But yeah, so that's a spinning seat. It'll never come loose and it'll never scratch your expensive fly reels. So there you go, Bob. I told you I would mention it on the show tonight. So there you go. All right. Speaking of native fly rods,
Right.
let's give away some.
So, grand prize for tonight. We're going to do a custom fly rod kit. So we talked about the natives. So we're going to do
Yes.
a native fly blank. We're going to do a CRB fly seat. We're going to throw in a grip for you, a guide set. Actually, we might do cork rings instead of a grip.
I will do either.
Either
so,
or. Okay.
And also I will work with you. You know, everybody knows this by now that has won a prize. I'll work with you the best I can. Make sure that we got it in stock in the color that you want it. If you want a 9-foot 5-weight in the midnight blue, awesome.
Cool.
I'll get it to you. If you want that 10-weight in the offshore seafoam color, we'll get you that too. If we've got it, I'll reach out to you, or you reach out to me live at mudhole.com if you win this giveaway. And also mention to me in there, hey, you know, I don't have a way to build a custom fly grip, and I want to go ahead and get this thing built. So give me a preformed, but you know, if you want to try to attack it down the road, just let me know, and I'll try to get you some rings and what you need.
All right, we're going to throw in a handle clamp as well,
Yes.
and some Pro Paste and Pro Coat. Why not?
Yep, and you said guide set.
Guide
so
set,
yeah,
yep.
I mean, it's a complete kit. You'll be able to fish it as soon as you get it knocked out.
All right, let's run.
Cool. turn it loose.
Run it and see what we got.
And you know what? If Sean or Mudhole wins, then we're going to throw in a gift card and draw again. See what happens.
There we go.
Antonio Gomez.
Congratulations, Antonio. Great prize there. Native fly rod. Great prize.
Gotta love it. Got to love it. All right, live at mudhole.com. Antonio, shoot me an email. I'll get it on Hunter's credit card, and we will get it headed your way. That's awesome. That is a great prize for sure. All right, we're going to get you out of here before 8 o'clock before those hot pockets get cold. Not too bad. Did I forget anything? Anybody?
We covered most of it.
Most of it?
Couple taboos for the fly fishing world, but that's okay. We could do a whole show on, spinning seats for instead of wood insert seats. We could do ceramic running guides instead of snake guides. That's my favorite one. But
oh yeah.
We'll save.
I know.
that.
I mentioned that earlier.
We'll save that for another show.
We're gonna have to get after those. Single foot guides another
Yeah.
time. All right, so congratulations to all the winners. And those winners include the 25,000 Mud Buck winner. Of course, all the winners tonight and the ones for the last photo contest. So remember, we've got a photo contest that's going until December 31st, 2022. Festive builds. That's in the Mudhole Live Rod Builders Workshop. Hashtag build the number 2 win. I do see a lot of you kind of mentioning, hey, let's do a Fly Rod 101, something like that. We absolutely will. We already are working on our schedule for next year for Facebook Live. Mudhole Live, actually, because it started as Facebook Live. We were just talking about that tonight, how long ago it all started. So if you have any suggestions, throw them in the group. As always, we will kind of piece and put them together. If we need to merge 2 ideas into one, we will absolutely do it. But again, congratulations to all the winners. Keep an eye out for Festive builds. The next show topic.
Yep.
Do we have a graphic for that? Are we gonna show the graphic, or are we gonna spoil the graphic? No, we're gonna save it. We'll save it. Don't look at me like that, Phil. So the next show topic is going to come on November 20 what? It's the week of Thanksgiving. 22nd? All right, so it's Tuesday night, November 22nd, the week of Thanksgiving. So before everybody gets fat and happy and turkeyed up, you can come here and have your most desired questions answered. We're going to have a few things ready to do, to answer, but it is the Q&A show. In 93 episodes, we've never done a dedicated Q&A show. So, if you've got a question that you want asked, and you know, out the jump, go ahead and tell us, especially if I need to get something ready. If I need to prepare to have something up here to show you, what does this look like, or how does this spin on here, or what side that reel seat goes on, whatever. Throw the questions, and we'll be ready to, to open it up. Hunter's going to divulge all of his secrets, and he's going to give you some tips and tricks on questions and answer show. I like it. I like it. So we are not going to have a mullet minute. But since we're not going to have a mullet minute, everybody needs to, Jake better be watching. I don't know if he is or not. But Jake is at the FFA National Convention, and I can assure you that there is some TikToking and some content getting while he's there. So we have a great educational program. Anthony and the team is up in Indianapolis for the FFA National Convention. They've got a booth up there. We bring rod building to hundreds of classrooms around the United States, and that's kind of the main meeting point. So that's where they're meeting with directors of the FFA, the regional stuff, state directors, teachers, other vendors. It's a really cool thing. I went, but it's been a long time ago. I mean, a long time ago. But it's a really neat thing. Jake is up there with Anthony and the team, so it's a cool deal. So cut him a little slack, but I'm not going to lie, he better have a really, really good mullet minute come November.
Yep.
So, all right. Anything else? Anything else? All right. Sean helped us out tonight in the war room Of course, Birdman as well. I see him walking around. He's ready to get out of here. We had Coolman on the Zoom camera. Uncle Phil running back there on the ones and twos all night long. Hunter McCamey is my left-hand man. Thank you for tonight. It was
appreciate
good.
that.
Keep in mind, he's also a newly married man.
Yeah, you gotta throw that out there.
We sent him down the aisle. Was that last week? 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago, I think. Yeah, 2 weeks.
He's already forgot the date.
Yeah.
I think what was it, October 15th?
October 15th.
I know. Don't worry, I got you, girl. So, congratulations to you guys.
Thank you, appreciate that. You
And-
were there, and I appreciate you being there. in
Yeah,
person, so.
I said a few words and didn't embarrass myself too
You
much.
did good.
And so Hunter's going to be going on a big rod building honeymoon here pretty soon. They're going to go on a big rod building.
Can't wait. Yeah.
No, he's not. He's not doing that. So anyway, thank you guys. Hunter, my left-hand man. I am Chris Adams. Thank you so much for joining us for the Fly episode. The guys did a great job here, our spooktacular set. And the next show, it's going to be after daylight savings time. So just more rod building to get done.
Yeah, I can't wait.
We'll see y'all in November for episode 93.
Thanks for watching.
Have a good night.